Hey YouTube, Jim here. Welcome to Top 10 Archive. Mother Nature is powerful beyond comprehension, and when she shows herself in full force, the results are terrifying. With smartphone technology, we're now seeing more videos than ever emerging in the wake of natural disasters, so there's plenty of footage out there to prove just how destructive forces on our planets can be. Here's my list of the top 10 worst natural disasters caught on tape. Be warned, some of the footage is pretty shocking. But before we get started, why not become an archivist today by clicking that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. If you end up enjoying this video, let us know by giving it a thumbs up, and in the comments section, tell us what the craziest thing you've seen Mother Nature do in person. Number 10. Hurricane Katrina. In August 2005, a deadly Category 5 hurricane made landfall and tore New Orleans apart with torrential rains and wind speeds of up to 175 miles or 280 kilometers per hour. It was the fourth most intense tropical cyclone to ever make landfall in the U.S., and more than 1,800 people lost their lives during the tragedy. As the devastating events unfolded, video clips emerged of the dire situation New Orleans residents were facing. 80% of the city was flooded, and the thousands of people that didn't evacuate filmed their increasingly dangerous surroundings as they found themselves with a serious lack of food, water, and shelter. The city's Superdome, which was sheltering people that had not been able to evacuate, was seriously damaged, and the roof's waterproof membrane was totally peeled away by the vicious winds. Number 9. Volcanic eruption, Mount Ontake. It was a peaceful and sunny day in 2014's peak hiking season when the country's first deadly volcanic eruption in 23 years took walkers on Japan's Mount Ontake by surprise. The volcano is a popular tourist attraction, and there were several hundred people on her slopes that day. There were no significant tremors to alert hikers of the impending eruption, so when Mount Ontake blew her top, there was very little time to escape the cloud of ash, rocks, and toxic gas that followed. Hikers close to the top of the 10,000-foot summit had no time to run, and they found themselves trapped in a horrifying predicament. Emergency helicopters were sent to rescue the 250 stranded hikers, but 63 people still lost their lives. Many victims were found buried underneath ash, and others had succumbed to injuries caused by flying rocks. Number 8. Christchurch earthquake. In 2011, a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck New Zealand, killing 185 people. The quake hit 6 miles or 10 kilometers outside of Christchurch at lunchtime, and in just 10 seconds, the country's most violent earthquake in history brought the city to its knees. The shallowness of the earthquake, combined with the fact that the city was already damaged by a quake the previous year, led to buildings falling down all over the city. More than half of the total deaths were caused when the Canterbury television building collapsed and caught fire, and 8 people were killed when masonry fell onto a bus they were riding in. Almost 7,000 people were treated for injuries caused by the quake, and it took a full day to rescue all of the survivors from the rubble. Video footage shows people on lunchtime strolls running for their lives as building debris rains down on them from above. Number 7. Typhoon Haiyan, the Philippines. In late 2013, one of the most brutal and destructive tropical cyclones ever recorded battered Southeast Asia, but it was the Philippines that suffered the worst fate. It was the deadliest natural disaster in the country's history, and official reports claimed that 6,300 lives were lost, but other reports put that figure well over 20,000. Winds of up to 195 miles or 315 kilometers per hour tore the island nation to pieces, making it the strongest tropical cyclone ever recorded based on wind speeds. The storm destroyed homes and injured tens of thousands of residents as it made its way across the country. One heavily pregnant woman was forced to swim for her life and cling to a post to survive when storm surges tore through her village. The giant wave swept away her mother, and the pregnant woman was forced to give birth in a makeshift center just days after her ordeal. Number 6. Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, Japan. When a magnitude 9 megathrust earthquake struck off the northeastern coast of Japan in March 2011, it caused a tsunami that killed thousands of people and caused billions of dollars in damages. The 6-minute tremor was so powerful that it actually shifted the Earth on its axis by several centimeters, and it also stirred up waves measuring more than 130 feet or 40 meters. Those waves tore inland for more than 6 miles or 10 kilometers, taking with them anything that stood in their way. Buildings, boats, cars, and people were swept up by the powerful swells, and more than 15,000 people are thought to have lost their lives on that tragic day. After the tragedy, the Japanese government introduced a new tsunami warning system after their old one had failed to register just how devastating the 2011 wave would be. Number 5. Avalanche on Everest. When Nepal was hit by a magnitude 7.8 earthquake on April 2015, almost 9,000 people lost their lives. The damage to the country's infrastructure was catastrophic, and the death toll would have been much higher had so many people in rural areas not been working outside at the time of the tremors. Hundreds of thousands of Nepalese people became homeless, and entire villages were wiped off the map, but the suffering wasn't limited to Nepal. Climbers on Mount Everest also became victims of the quake when it triggered a series of deadly avalanches. Between 700 and 1,000 were on the mountain when the earthquake struck, including 359 climbers at base camp. One wall of snow smashed into base camp, wiping out tents and killing 19. Dozens of other climbers became stranded at dangerously high altitudes, and rescue efforts were constantly slowed by bad weather conditions. At least 22 people were killed on Everest that day, making April 25, 2015, the deadliest date in the mountain's history. Number 4. Portugal wildfires. On the afternoon of June 17, 2017, 4 wildfires erupted in central Portugal, beginning a series of events that would kill at least 66 people. The initial fires were caused by an intense heat wave and freak lightning strikes, and in total, 156 fires ignited over a 7-day period. 1,700 firefighters were called in to tackle the blaze, and water-bombing planes doused flames as the heat wave continued and threatened to start more fires. Spain, France, Italy, and Morocco also lent support to the burning country. One particularly unthinkable situation caused several of the deaths during the wildfires. The tragedy occurred when the fires suddenly swept across a road packed with people evacuating their cars, trapping them with thick smoke and towering flames. 22 people burned to death in their vehicles, and a further 3 people lost their lives to smoke inhalation. Number 3. Haiti earthquake. On January 12, 2010, a magnitude 7 earthquake struck the West Indian island of Hispaniola, better known as the piece of land occupied by Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Haiti suffered the brunt of the damage, with the epicenter being approximately 16 miles or 25 kilometers west of the capital city, Port-au-Prince. This was the first earthquake of such magnitude to hit Haiti since the 18th century, and the poverty-stricken country's infrastructure wasn't designed to withstand such violent tremors. A series of 52 aftershocks, some of which measuring up to magnitudes of 5.9, hampered rescue efforts, and the country turned to chaos as officials struggled to regain control. At least 160,000 victims lost their lives, although some figures put the number at 316,000. So many people died in the capital that overwhelmed morgues were forced to bury victims in mass graves. Over 250,000 residential and commercial buildings were destroyed during the quakes, which left thousands more homeless for months on end. Number 2. Hurricane Sandy. In 2012, a superstorm ripped its way through the Caribbean before causing havoc in North America. Originating in the Western Caribbean Sea, Hurricane Sandy gathered strength as she traveled up the coast of the United States and made landfall near New Jersey. Violent winds and storm surges left New York City underwater for days, with tunnels and subway lines completely flooded. In Jamaica, 70% of residents lost their electricity when Sandy touched down, and over $100 million of damage was caused. Haiti suffered severe flooding caused by Sandy's outer bands, which killed at least 54 people, caused food shortages, and left hundreds of thousands of people homeless. By the time Sandy's reign of terror was over, 233 people had been killed in 8 countries, and around $70 billion in damage was caused. The storm became the largest Atlantic hurricane on record, spanning an incredible 900 miles or 1,400 kilometers. Number 1. Tsunami, Indian Ocean. The devastating reason that there's so much footage of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami is that it occurred on Boxing Day, December 26th, while thousands of families were still documenting their Christmas celebrations. For that reason, it's number 1 on our list of the worst natural disasters ever caught on tape. The 9.1 magnitude earthquake that struck off the coast of Indonesia caused a tsunami like nothing the modern world had ever seen before, and it claimed almost 250,000 lives and caused $10 billion of damage as it swept through multiple countries. Waves of up to 30 meters or 100 feet high smashed into coastlines, wiping out tourists and locals as they enjoyed a morning in the sun. Entire communities were destroyed, and some areas never fully recovered from the tragedy that turned their lives upside down on that fateful morning. Said to be one of the deadliest natural disasters ever, it was the 3rd largest recorded earthquake and had the longest ever duration of between 8 and 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. Be sure before you go to subscribe, click the bell, give this video a like, and then let us know in the comments section which of these or other natural disasters were most disturbing, and if you think we should do another video about natural disasters.